Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm back on my Massey Harris Model 33 working on this. I spent the last period of time just blowing it apart, tearing pieces and parts out of this motor, and right now I have the crank and the rods out at the machine shop to get those machined, get those repaired so that we can put it back together. Had the 3 spun rod bearings. If it hadn't have been for that, I think that we could have just put in some new rod bearings and went from there. The main bearings were in decent shape, but I'm going to go ahead and have the mains ground as well. So that'll of course require new main bearings, undersized bearings to go in there. But it's still an exciting time because I can work on fixing bits and part pieces and of this tractor. So right now I've got my 3 stone cylinder hone, and I am working on these cylinders. Cylinder number 1, I'm starting to see a little bit of a crosshatch develop on there. I've just been working that with the hone a little bit and some light oil. Cylinder 2 is coming together. I haven't touched cylinder 3 and 4 yet. 4 is pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can see those rings, but I can see where it's apparent that the actual rings at a 1/4 inch wide were stuck to this cylinder. Now this one's in really rough shape. This there we go. Yeah. This bore number 4 is in pretty rough shape, and it's a sleeved engine, wet sleeved engine. I could try to re-sleeve them if I can find sleeves. I haven't been able to find those sleeves anywhere in all my searches online. I should probably start making some phone calls, but let's get down to the crux of the matter. It's not in the budget. I don't have the money to purchase new sleeves for this. For a normal tractor, it might be a few $100 for the entire setup, for sleeves, pistons, rings, all that stuff. But because this engine is so rare, I know it's going to be closer to $1,000 to $1,500, and at this point, it's not worth it. I'm not going to spend the money to do that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3 stone hone, and I'm going to work on cleaning these up and getting a crosshatch in there and getting this thing back to where a new set of rings will seal up in there. My goal, I'm not building a race engine here, guys. I'm not even building the car engine to go down the freeway. I'm building a tractor engine. This thing is made to max out at 1,500 RPM and just sit there and chug away at probably 1,200 RPM all day. And that's what we're building this thing to do again. So, yeah, I'm getting the crank reground. I possibly could have done that, myself at home, hacked that, but that one's important enough. The damage on that was sufficient enough that I wanted to get that done professionally. The rest of this, I think if we just knock the glaze off and get these things shined up a little bit, then we'll have ourselves a pretty decent chance of having having a tractor that's going to run well for years and years to come. So enough talking. So I've got some motor oil just coating these cylinders right now. Going to use some PB Blaster to thin that out. I want a nice thin coating of oil in here. I'm being pretty aggressive with these stones, so I've got this cranked down a few steps and nice and slow. Oh, that drill. It might be time to replace my cordless drill here. It. Now I could talk to you about, say, 3 sigma or 6 sigma and those kinds of analysis on where we're going and what it would take to get this thing into real good shape, right? So if I wanted to say get this thing into perfect shape, it could be done. It would just cost a lot more money. So if you look at a bell curve, right? And if you if you look at a bell curve and you look at what's underneath the bell curve, you can get, say, 2/3 of your performance, 2/3 of your gains for very little input and cost. But as you want to get out there on that ragged edge of your gains, the more gains you want, the more expensive it is. So let's say I wanted to get these cylinders to 125 psi of compression with only, say, plus or minus 2 psi. That's possible, right? You could do that, but it would cost a whole bucket load of money. I'd have to get the heads decked, new sleeves, new cylinders, custom gap, might be, had to get some fancy chromoly rings, all those things that add cost. But what if I wanted to go, say, 125 plus or minus 5? Well, that's kind of my goal, right? I want to get this thing to, well, actually 10%. I don't want to be any more than 10%. So let's just say 125 plus or minus 10. So if I'm at 125 plus or minus 10, I'm pretty sure I'm wanting to get to there with just this method. And that 125 plus or minus 10 will give me functional performance. Could it be better? You bet. Would it cost more? Absolutely. I still have a little tiny bit. You can see a little tiny bit of glazing right here underneath where the wear ring is. I'm at the point where I might give that another, you see that little line of darker gray. I'm going to just let that roll at this time and not worry about it. All right, I want to move on to cylinder number 3. I'm going to just do cylinder number 3 off camera. I want to get this thing ground out. I'll take some video of that too. Maybe it'll be interesting. I doubt it. But let's just get a good before and after. Here we go. Before on cylinder. Let me fail. That poor drill. It's coming. I'm not going to call that one done, but I'm going to call that one done for this round. Let's take a look behind door number 4. All right, cylinder number 4. You can really see down in there the shape that that's in. Let's see what happens when we try to give it a little bit of honing. I'm pretty much going to have this hone worn out, I think, by the time I'm done with this one project. What do you guys think? I know what I think. I think I need to keep going. But I'm also a little bit nervous. How's it looking some other spots? Let me get a light. Hold on a second. So I don't know if you can see that pitting in there. It should be fairly obvious, but we've got some dark spots, some pitting where we had some rust. We're going to hit it a little bit more with the hone and try to work some more of that out. We've got time. We still got more grit left on those stones. We're just going to keep at it. I don't think we've well, I measured it. Let me measure something real quick. So I've got my let's get this cylinder right about there. All right, let's see what we measure with my cheap calipers here. 36245. 3625 is nominal. There we go, 3625. We haven't really affected the overall diameter of this piston yet. We should still be well within the re-ringing specification. So I'm going to hit that a little bit more and keep at it. I'll turn the camera off and I'll just hit this, and then I'll bring you guys back when I have something to show you. All right, I've honed out all 4 of these cylinders as much as I'm going to be able to. Cylinder number 4 is not great. It never was good. It's not going to be good without a new liner. So it's as good as it's going to get. 1 through 3 are 3s, 2 and 1 are in pretty good shape. As close to shape as they're going to get. Next step is I've got some diluted Dawn dishwashing detergent. I'm going to wash out all the grit and the grime and get these bores cleaned up. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I think that's going to wrap up this episode. I think that what I can say is that I'm done with with honing the cylinders at this point. They're as good as I'm going to be able to get them with the cylinder hone. Cylinder 4, it's still pretty rough. So that one was at 95 psi, I believe, when we pressure tested it. I'm curious to see if we're going to make an improvement when we get to that point. So the block is basically done, right? So it's honed out. It's ready to accept the new rings with the old pistons. And hey, if you watch this all the way to the end, like it and subscribe it. Let people know. Let's get some of this word out here. I'd like to be able to do more of this stuff. And liking and subscribing, that helps grow the channel, and it's going to enable me to do more of this stuff. I've got a list of tractor projects that I want to do, and putting it on YouTube, well, that might help me do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.